Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chloe, and I'm Managing Director here at Natural Building Systems. And it's my pleasure to be here today to tell you about our solution for decarbonising the built environment through the systemised use of bio-based insulation materials. So is construction really that destructive? Well, it's responsible for more than 50% of global resource and raw material extraction and 36% of waste. But the materials that we use today in construction matter more than ever before, as they will increasingly make up the majority of a new building's whole life carbon. Meanwhile, we need to build over 8 million new homes in the UK in the next 3 decades, and yet house building levels are falling to their lowest in a century. Obviously, this is due to a complicated number of factors, but some of this is to do with material price increasing regulatory requirements, and supply chain and skills shortages. All of this is putting pressure on house builders' budgets. So our solution is centred around the use of industrial hemp, and this is one of nature's most efficient tools for carbon capture. We use hemp alongside other natural materials to take a fabric-first approach. And what this means is that we let the building's fabric do the heavy lifting in terms of maintaining comfortable internal conditions. Using breathable materials not only improves air quality, but it also reduces the risk of damp and condensation, and makes homes that are healthier for people. So what we're doing is combining these bio-based materials into a structural panel system that makes the most of the benefits offered by digitization and lean manufacturing to be able to take a mass customization approach that means we can deliver bespoke, high-performing homes at cost parity with conventional construction. So when I say conventional construction, what do I mean? Well, traditionally, for the last 100 years or so, houses have been built using some form of masonry. Increasingly, we're seeing use of some timber and oil-based SIPS panels, but our system is actually made using almost exclusively bio-based materials. And this has significant carbon impacts. So masonry uses a lot of heavy materials and a lot of high embodied carbon materials, and typically has an embodied carbon footprint of over 350 kilograms a square metre. Some conventional approaches are making more lightweight buildings, and they're using some elements of timber, so they're able to bring this down. But what we can do is actually flip this on its head and use the built environment as a tool to store a significant amount of carbon. So at 16, I started my career as a facilitator in the youth sector, and this was having outgrown my previous job as a local pot wash in the local pub. But through this, I was facilitating groups of young people to find solutions to improve their communities. And despite growing up in an inner city council estate, a part of my family is very involved in farming, and I cut my teeth in the pot wash game at the local farmers market that I still help run to this day. And it was here that I really first discovered the benefits of industrial hemp and its potential to not only improve biodiversity, but also store a significant amount of carbon and build homes at the same time. So I approached David, who is an expert in construction and property management and leads our design team, and Mike, who is an academic and a world-renowned material scientist who specialised in hemp. And together we embarked on this bold mission to try and reinvent construction. So today we've grown to a team of 12, and we work a lot with an extensive range of architects, engineers and external advisors from across the industry. We've been doing a fair bit of intensive R&D, so we started out using hemp lime, we did some very messy prototyping, and we always knew that we wanted to make the most of digitization and lean manufacturing. So we got ourselves a CNC machine, we built a structural test rig, and we started really optimizing the product for what we wanted to use it for. We've done a range of pilot projects, trialled different assembly methods, and we always knew that fire testing was really critical. So we're the first bio-based modular system to have passed fire tests with the BRE. And we're now moving on to some more commercially focused projects. So we've got about £300,000 of revenue in the pipeline this year and inquiries that total well over 2 million for the next 18 months. Some of our projects are being monitored thermally so that we can really build the evidence base around this performance. And as we do these early projects, we're ultimately developing our component library. So alongside that, we're looking to scale production capacity and to unlock some interesting alternative finance models. Ultimately, we need this solution to be adopted at scale by industry so we can ignite a global scalability of sustainable construction. We want to work with local farmers to benefit from local manufacturing infrastructure to be able to build local houses in order to start the grow to build movement. So as I mentioned, initially we want to work with, and we are working with, one-off projects and directly with customers, but ultimately to achieve the scale that we're looking for, we need to be supplying our component as flat pack kits at scale to industry. So ultimately we'll be looking to work with volume house builders, and we're already having some interesting inquiries from some larger developers and infrastructure projects. In order to do this, we need to raise £2 million, the majority of which will be used to help scale our production capacity to be able to meet the demand that we're seeing, but also to further test and validate our product and build our team's capacity. We're also looking at integrating some really interesting technology solutions to help us unlock this mass customization scalability model. We recognise that this challenge is vast, but we feel that the time has come for us to embrace the next generation in sustainable construction. We think that together we can make buildings that are not only better for the planet and healthier for people, but also designed for zero waste and adaptation. And together we can unlock construction without destruction. Thank you.